Now, let's take a closer look at the synchronization start program. Here you see the version shipped with RSF. This section starts replication for library RSF itself. This section starts replication for each library for which you've defined synchronization attributes. A separate job is submitted for each library. Here, we're starting replication for all IFS directories for which you've defined synchronization attributes. And here, we're starting synchronization for system information such as user profiles, authorization lists, configuration information, and so on. Now, when starting synchronization for the first time, RSF must establish an initial synchronization point, ensuring that the source and target libraries match exactly. You can let RSF do this automatically by specifying the default value of full save auto on the various RSF synchronization start commands. RSF will then copy the entire library or directory from the source to the target machine to ensure they're identical. Afterwards, of course, only the incremental changes are sent. Or you can use tape or any other means to manually ensure that the source and target libraries are identical, and then tell RSF to skip this step by specifying full save manual in the appropriate synchronization command. Letting RSF set the initial synchronization point automatically is the easiest way to go, but the manual method gives you the flexibility to handle things differently if necessary. So, what are the RSF commands for starting synchronization? The synchronize libraries command starts synchronization for one or more libraries. The synchronize IFS directories command starts synchronization for one or more IFS directories. The synchronize from attributes command is used to start synchronization for all of the libraries and IFS directories for which you've defined synchronization attributes, i.e., the items that show up in your Work with Sync Attributes list. And the synchronize system info command starts synchronization for system information. Note, by the way, how these and all of the other RSF functions have CL commands associated with them. This makes it easy for you to build RSF functions into your own CL programs. When starting synchronization, you can fine-tune several performance options. Choose whether to have a separate sync job for each library or to combine similar libraries into a single job. Choose whether to run synchronization jobs one at a time or whether to allow multiple jobs to run concurrently. Choose the frequency for various synchronization tasks from minutes to hours to days. Okay, let's take a quick look at the command prompts for a few of the synchronization start commands. Select option 21 from the HA menu to start synchronization for one or more libraries. The command prompt looks like this. You specify the from and to library names, the server ID for the target system, target operating system release level, repeat interval, job description, and so on. Note that the target release parameter allows you to replicate a machine that has a different operating system release than the production machine. Here you can see a few more parameters, including the full save parameter that was mentioned earlier. The command to start replication of one or more IFS directories is shown here. Instead of specifying library names, you specify directories to replicate. The other parameters are already familiar. And finally, The command to start synchronization for system information looks like this. Again, note the similarity to the other synchronization start commands. Alright, now let's say you've set up your environment and you've started replication. Let's just review how you check to be sure everything is replicating properly. Selecting option 40 from the HA menu brings up the Work with Sync Attributes display. What you want to see is green everywhere in the last sync column and blank everywhere in the last error column. In this example, an error is reported for library sync test, as indicated by the date and time shown in the last error column. RSF fixes most errors automatically, so it would not be unusual for this error to disappear by the next cycle. If needed, however, you can key a 5 beside the entry to see more information about the error, or view job logs on the production and backup machines that will have more detailed information by selecting option 45 from the RSF-HA or RSF-HAT source and target menus. There's another slick way you can assure yourself that a library or IFS directory is replicating properly. Key 16 beside any entry to compare the library or directory to its counterpart on the backup machine. The compare function lets you check all objects in a library or subset by object type and generic name. You can perform a quick high-level check that compares only the object attributes, or you can tell RSF to compare every byte of the data as well. The results can be sent to the display, a printer, or an out file for further analysis. If it turns out that some objects don't match, you can direct RSF to refresh those objects automatically at the next synchronization interval. Remember, of course, that comparing libraries or directories only makes sense when they're quiescent. If a library is being changed on production, you would expect there to be differences with the backup copy until there's been time for all of the changes to be replicated. Well, we're going to wrap up this overview here. Feel free to email us with questions or comments. Just a quick note about bug busters. We've been writing software for the AS400 and iSeries market for over 21 years. Our software products are installed on over 3,000 machines at over 850 companies in over 35 countries. Thanks for listening.